What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ Today, episode 26 of the podcast. It is good to see you all in the chat. We are going to get right into it. Mike, how you feeling, brother?
What's up, guys? It's good to be back, Brian. I don't know how long we were down. For me, I think it's been 2 weeks, I want to say. Yeah, 2 weeks. Doing good. Right now work for me is kind of busy, so everything's kind of moving at a steady pace. And of course, we get closer and closer to camp. So just gearing up, man. It's good to see you. It's good to be with chat. So it's a very good Wednesday. It's a very good Wednesday.
Absolutely. And we are technically, training camp has begun. The rookies reported yesterday, so we are now in the thick of it. And so, there are some things that are still needing to be done. We still have not finished signing our entire rookie class. We will talk about that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Marcus Maye. They tagged him, and I know that that's happened a couple of days now, about a week ago. But there's a lot of emotions that go into the Marcus Maye thing, and so we will talk a little bit about that. I want to hear what you have to say, Mike, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys in the chat. Also going to talk a little bit about an article that I read. It spoke about what Robert Saleh said about the backup quarterback position and just the quarterback competition in general. That was an article written by Paul Esden of heavy.com. And so I will share what he wrote about that, and we will talk a little bit about that tonight. So anyway, hope everybody's feeling good. And we have 2 voicemails we're going to start the show with. If you didn't know,
let's do it.
We take voicemails. The phone number is on the screen. It's on there every night. It's on, I share it on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, guys, go ahead and join me on Twitter at NYJ Today. And anyways, we're going to get right to the first voicemail. It's from Jeremy. And Jeremy sent this voicemail literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But it is still relevant. I wanted to give him a chance to share it, though. So anyway, Jeremy with the voicemail. Here we go.
Hey, John, it's Jeremy Chrebet in Sacramento via Brooklyn. Hey, I just wanted to say, talking about next year, like I've been thinking about this. I think it's very realistic that there's 2 different scenarios. I could see us winning 9 to 11 games, and it's amazing turnaround that I could see a situation where we win 5 to 7 games. And I think and I don't think it's Zach Wilson that's going to determine those 2 things. I think it's going to be, and what we were mentioning before, it's going to be interior line, and right guard and center. So, if McGovern and, if it's Van Roten, if they don't play better in this scheme, if something doesn't improve, that would be like the explanation of outside of injuries of why we ended up with only 6 wins. And also, I think part of that too on the defensive side is obviously the secondary. Like if the defensive line can't just create pressure like crazy, that could be an explanation too, that the secondary couldn't hold up. The defensive line can only do so much. And then on the flip side, same thing, 10, 11 wins, because the blocking scheme worked and the offensive line was able to hold. Defensive line created lots of pressure, helped the young secondary. All the other parts of our team are strong. So I think we could, that would be, that's all taken care of why we would be able to win all those games. So anyway, that's just my take. Regardless, I think to be championship level, we need to address right guard and center, and get to a much higher level of play. Whether that be any of the guys on the squad right now that step up or improve, I don't know. But it can't just be okay and good. If you want to beat Kansas City, we have to have elite offensive linemen across the board. That's my take.
Okay, and there you go. That's Jeremy Chrebet leaving the voicemail. Jeremy, thank you so much for leaving the voicemail. Mike, initial thoughts on the voicemail. He talked a lot about the offensive line and the secondary. It could be the way that the season is ultimately decided, whether we have a losing record or potentially, push into that winning, side of the season. So what do you think? What are your takes on that?
I mean, I think he's on point with the vulnerabilities. I mean, I think secondary, we had multiple topics on multiple streams talking about the secondary. Obviously, the recent Marcus May news brings that to a pinnacle, probably at this point. I don't want to jump ahead, but I think Jeremy's got his finger on the pulse of where we'll be. And I'll also say, if those things come, I'm not worried about the line. I think that's where I don't necessarily. I don't think he's wrong. I don't hold the same level of concern for the line like he does. I could quickly change depending on how camp goes and things like that. But in my current state, and just me as a fan, I'm not as worried about the line. But I do agree, the secondary seems to be the spot which will probably be Joe D's focus for the 22, for the 21 offseason, 22, however you classify that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would say the one thing he didn't mention, at least I didn't hear, is the linebacker side. So, that I would just say anything outside the D line is a possibility of being a concern. Anywhere from the linebacker crew back to the D backs. That's going to be a very interesting thing. I also think it'll be kind of exciting. I mean, the oldest defensive back we have is 25, right, John? Something like that. I mean,
we're talking about cornerbacks, but if we're including all DBs, including safety, there are older veteran safeties on the team. But yes, at the cornerback spot though, 25 and young.
Yeah. I don't know. I think when you're in those situations, and again, this is me as a fan, if it's nothing but young raw talent like the corners are, I give them, maybe I shouldn't, but I give them a little bit of a pass, and I also look at it from more of a, if I do see a big play, what is the potential of that to continue into the future, and someone who could be, a next rising star. So, is the secondary part of why we don't get to, I know we don't have an 8-8 season anymore, but a 9-7 or 9-8, whatever the breakdown is. The 9-7 would be 16 games. But yeah, I mean, if the defensive backs are the reason why we don't get there, their Achilles heel, I get it. But hence why Joe D was so smart with how we approached this year's draft and what we have for next year. So I'm all about looking at talent we have, looking at who's progressing, regardless of the record. I mean, the record is important. The New York media cares about the record. We know that. But, I think it'll be more interesting to see who rises above the waterline, and try to build on that and look at the glass half full. So he's not wrong, particularly on the secondary. But I mean, I don't think that's news to anyone in the chat or for me or you. I think it's just about, okay, Joe D knows that, Saleh knows that. What are they going to do about it?
Well, I'll interject and I'll just say you're right. I agree with almost everything you said. I will go a little bit further than what you said. I do slightly disagree with his O-line take. You do not have to have good to elite offensive linemen at all 5 spots. It's very, very rare that happens in the National Football League, and it's almost impossible to maintain that. If we can get, the 3 to 4 who are really good, solid offensive linemen, that would be amazing. So I do hear what you're saying, though, Jeremy. I'm not trying to smash your take at all by any means. Right guard is a concern. Center is a question mark. I do feel better about McGovern than I do our right guard position. So I'm personally pretty positive and optimistic about our offensive line. And also, in general, the secondary is a huge concern and question mark. I think anybody that tries to tell you or sell you otherwise is a fanboy and is, looking way too optimistically at the roster, the group that we have. So, all right, cool. It's a lot of familiar faces. Let me go to the chat real quick. So Legend Killa earlier, he said, anybody else really nervous with all the positivity regarding the Jets this offseason? I think that's definitely in bounds, because we've had some off seasons where we look at the team and we read the article, we hear all the hype, and we get so excited. It's hard not to be nervous at this point, because of all of the positivity. So I agree with that for sure. And then also Frankie, he mentioned earlier, Richard Sherman was a 5th-round pick with 4.5 speed, which matches Pinnock. There are some similarities between Pinnock and Richard Sherman, both taken in the 5th round. both not necessarily burners at the cornerback spot. So yeah, very cool. And they're talking a little bit about a Justin Fields article. Oh, there's a lot of familiar faces here. Jets gang, Jets, Jets, Jets. Johnny says, remember the last Pitt cornerback we took in the draft? Hint, he had his own island. Yes, he sure did.
I remember that
Vervain.
draft. I'll always remember that draft.
Oh my God. So short story. We got so ultimately trashed for that draft, the Reeves draft. It was unbelievable. We were in college at that point though. So.
And if anyone's wondering, Chad was there too. So when next time you see him, ask him about it.
Vervain says if the Jets suck again this year, it will be due to not getting production on the ground or potentially injuries. Yeah, the running game is crucial. I've made a video about that on the channel for sure. So, all right, let's see. Michael Carter is the cornerback that will turn into a beast. He wants us to sign Jason Verrett. Is he available? I'm not sure if he is or not. I would be fine with signing a veteran cornerback. I still think that the Jets are not going to do that. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Stephen Engel, Joe Namath is still alive. Yeah, we should still be nervous with the positivity. And what he means by that is that Joe Namath sold his soul to the devil to get that Super Bowl win against the Baltimore Colts. So, let's see. Gitmo says you gotta hope that the experienced safeties can cover up for the cornerback inexperience. Agreed completely, and you gotta also hope the pass rush can cover up some of the deficiencies in the secondary as well. All right, we got voicemail 2. This one's from Grant Rude in Saskatoon, Canada, and he is going to talk a little bit about the nether regions.
His nether regions?
It's the nether regions he's going to be discussing, and he also has a serious question as well. So here is Grant Rude on balls.
Hey guys, Grant calling from Saskatoon here. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos lately, and I got to know your guys' take on this. It seems really important to everybody else that I keep my balls shaved clean. I just need to know your guys' opinion on whether you think Wilson is keeping an eye on McGovern's balls, considering he's their center, and he needs to keep those balls shaven clean so that the sweat isn't dripping onto the ball, allowing Wilson to throw a dry, nice, clean ball. So what's your opinion on keeping my balls shaved and keeping McGovern's balls shaved? And, I mean, the rest of the D-line, too, you gotta imagine they got to be comfortable out there, too. So should we be concerned about other guys shaving their balls? Okay, now seriously, question is, looking at our current roster, we've got a lot of rookies, including the coaching staff. Most important in my mind is going from head coach Saleh to offensive coordinator LaFleur, defensive coordinator Albrich, and then down to quarterback Zach Wilson. So that, in my mind, is the order of priority that needs to be good and succeed. What, in your opinion, is the most important thing to go right, essentially, the person to get it right, order 1 to 4, so to speak? And if one fails, how impactful is it? So if Albrich is bad, our defense is bad, how impactful is that on the season? Or if Saleh turns out to be a terrible head coach, how impactful is that on the season? Thanks for your time, and we'll see you tonight.
Before you go, Mike, I got to make sure everybody who's watching understands the balls reference. So if you watch Jets Talk 24/7, if you watch Matt O'Leary, they have a sponsor, the lawnmower.
Yep.
And so that's what he's talking about, and he's joking about. I guess he's probably tired of hearing about how important it is to trim his balls, and so I guess that's why he was bringing it up. It was very funny, though, so I appreciated it. Grant, thanks for leaving the voicemail. Mike, what are your thoughts on the importance? You said 1 to 4 coaches on the team. You know, what would be, I mean, I kind of know my answer already, but what do you think would be like a worst case scenario or maybe best case scenario for a coach to be just like outstanding? and then maybe, like I said, the worst case scenario for a coach to be just terrible at his job, what would ultimately be best case and worst case?
I'm gonna have you go first because I want to make sure I'm understanding how to answer that question. So you go first.
So I think worst case scenario, I think you have to point to Saleh. If Robert Saleh is a bad head coach, it's going to have a trickle down effect on
Yeah.
everyone. It's going to have a trickle down effect on the coaches. It's going to have a trickle down effect, obviously, on the players. It's going to affect their ability to develop. So I think that's a no-brainer answer. I think that if Robert Saleh is not the goods, that is bad news for the New York Jets.
Right.
Best case scenario, I will say, and maybe this isn't how he wanted me to answer it, but I'm going to do it that way anyway. Best case scenario for a coach to be outstanding, I'm saying Mike LaFleur. If Mike LaFleur is the goods and he is drawing up wizard plays on offense, if he's able to script, those first 15 plays and we're productive early in the first quarter of football games, if we're scoring points, which we all are so desperate for, we are all tired of watching an anemic offense on Sundays. If this man can turn this offense into a top 18 offense, I'm going to say, top 20 even, that would be an improvement. And if he's even better than that, if we're into the top 15 discussion, then let's build a shrine for this man outside of MetLife Stadium. Who do you got?
I appreciate you going first, just to kind of frame how to answer it. I'm not trying to ride anyone coattails, but I definitely agree that the season starts, the franchise starts with Robert and ends with Robert at that point. I guess he's not coaching staff, but if I had to augment the question, I would put Joe D in there because I do think Joe D is as much about this franchise future as Robert is. I think we all would agree with that.
You can cheat.
I'm not going to cheat.
Any way you want. Go ahead.
But I definitely agree with Robert. I do agree with LaFleur because at the end of the day, as great as Wilson is, we need the strategy. We need the schematic on how to deploy him and the rest of the offense. So those two, I think you nailed 100%. I'm going to go a little bit further into the rabbit hole. I'll go to the third line or third tier, which is, and Chad, you can let me know, but I think it's the strength and conditioning staff. I really do, because we've had a really hard time, particularly with our quote unquote superstars. I mean, maybe not so much compared to your little league, but in terms of talent on the team, keeping our superstars healthy and able to play a full season. And now with an extra game, I really think that the strength and conditioning coaches are really going to be put to the test to earn their money. And they'll already have their task ahead of them with the news outlets on Becton, although everything I hear now is that he's okay. Everyone, us here at NYJ today have talked about Wilson's small frame, making sure he's in good condition. The whole team, and Quentin Williams. So I would say, nothing against Jeff in terms of his role on the defensive coordinator side, but to me, it's the framework of that strength and conditioning staff to really make sure that they're keeping the team as close to 100% as they can be over a 17-game season. So I would go a little bit further and say that they are right up there in terms of the importance, not so much for the franchise, obviously, but for the season. That strength and conditioning staff is really important. And then I'll also go one more tier down, and that's really because we don't have a veteran quarterback. I really think that quarterback coach is also a very important coaching member or role for the next two seasons, because it's Zach's first 2 years. It's going to be probably the point in time where he's growing and absorbing the most amount of information. So I want to add to it, and I would say the strength and conditioning staff and the quarterback coach are really high on my list.
That's a great answer, the strength and conditioning one, because it's a brand new staff. They got rid of the whole department, as far as I understand. They fired everybody. That's crucial, and I think you're right. If they can get these players to not be so frequently injured like we've been the last several years, huge. That would be a huge advantage and a huge boon to the whole team. Really quickly, on a more serious note, a lot of people are asking about Greg Knapp. And Mike, I don't know if you heard the news about Greg Knapp yet.
No, I don't think I have.
So he's the passing game coordinator for the New York Jets, and he was in a very, very serious accident. He was on riding on his bike, and he
Wow.
got hit by a car, and he is in
Whoa.
he is in serious critical condition. A lot of people in the chat are asking if he is, what is there any news, any update? And I mean, as far as I know, guys, and I'm not gonna, guess, there's no news that I've read. And he is in critical condition. So that's what, again, I'm not an expert, but what I understand about it is that's in the life-threatening stratosphere. Truly, like you don't know what's going to happen kind of situation. So everybody's just praying. And if you're not into prayer, your thoughts obviously go out to him and his family. It's a very, very serious thing. As far as I know, he's just an outstanding dude. Obviously a great coach. He's been doing this for a long time. And it hurts the Jets, but more importantly, it hurts to know that somebody that seems to be a good person is, not doing so well. And I do I do agree with what Vern said, actually, and that was going to be my point when we finally talked about it. He's right. At this point in the game, no news is good news, because it's very, very unlikely when you're in this condition that, in 12 hours, 24 hours, you're just going to miraculously be out of critical condition. So I agree with you, Vern. The fact that we've heard nothing is good news. His family did put out a statement, and they thanked everybody for all the prayers. So again, if you are a praying person, just continue to do that for Greg, because he is fighting for his life. And Vern, to break the serious tone, he says, "Clear your throat one more time, Mike. Is Mike sick?"
Yeah, no, I got something stuck in there. Must be something in the air, Vern.
Chicken parm.
You want some? I never give you any, but
Oh man, you never do. All right. So anyway, we will move on. We talked a lot about the voicemails. And again, thank you to everybody who left them. Guys, if you're in the chat right now, there's no pressure. You can leave a voicemail any day of the week. It can be a literal 20 voicemail. Just send a quick, question or a comment about the Jets, and I will put it on the stream and we will talk about it. So leave those voicemails 24/7. It does not matter to me. All right. What's up, Jeremy? Good to see you, buddy. We did share your voicemail. So if you missed that, feel free to check that out later. Let's go ahead and get into the first topic of the night, Mike, and it is Marcus Maye. There's going to be a video that posts on the channel at 3 o'clock tomorrow with my, greater detail and what I think about the Marcus Maye situation. He's been franchise tagged, and there are a lot of people who think that the Jets are just screwing over Marcus Maye, and they believe that the Jets organization it's embarrassing, and they're doing a player dirty, and he's going to ultimately, it's going to distract people from wanting to come to the Jets. So I want to hear your take on it. They tagged him. He's not going to be extended or re-signed currently. What's your take on it?
I get it, and I'm kind of torn on it, I guess. But if I am leaning one way, and I'm leaning okay with it, I got to be honest. I mean, I think he's going on 29 or 30 years old, I want to say.
He's 28 now.
He's 28. Yeah, I understand that Maye was supposed to be our anchor given the Jamal Adams trade. But I think with the success that the Jets had in this year's draft, I think they have a higher level of confidence. And I think what they're looking at is, do we let 10 million, 11 million go out the door, or do we believe in our coaching staff? Do we believe in our young talent to make it through the 21 season and try to, have the same level of success with the draft and the offseason for next year in terms of securing a younger talent a more long-term talent to fill not just the safety positions, but also multiple roles on the secondary. So I do agree with the fact that it's a small world out there in the league, particularly for veteran players and free agents. But I think the Jets right now are so re-energized, having a young team, a team that's that not only is young but also has a young coaching staff. I think that when they looked at it, they were like, "That's a lot of money for a 30-year-old player." Nothing against Marcus Maye.
Nearing 30.
I'm sorry, nearing 30 years old.
Keep going.
And I just think they were like, we're not going that far for the 21 season. I know some of the chat said we have a playoff potential. That happens, great, but I think the Jets are like, we're not going to get in the playoffs this year. Where would we like that $11 million to go? Do we want it to go now for Marcus, or do we want it to go towards something that we don't even know of right now? And I can't blame them. I think that's I don't think that was a bad move. I'm sure if you're a Marcus Maye fan, or if you are a player, you're looking at this and you're probably saying, "Wow, this tells me a lot." But I think this was more of a long-term decision and future direction of the team than it was a reflection on Marcus itself. So I'm not disappointed with it. I could, if I was to put myself in Joe D's head, I think this is definitely a Joe D type of move.
Absolutely.
And I think Marcus Maye will get picked up, so I'm not worried about that. I just think that they're just looking at the 21 season somewhat as a building year, as a wash, and they're looking to secure the rest of the talent in the 22 season. So I'm not disappointed.
I'm not either, and I'm not going to share all of my thoughts and my feelings because I do dive deep into it in the video. But ultimately, guys, I mean, I know it's cliche, and I'm going to say it anyway because I think it's important, because some people just forget. The New York Jets are a business, and the New York Jets don't care about the feelings of the players, and I think that that's what people get lost in the sauce. And I think a lot of fans get lost in the sauce in that regard, is that they are not looking out for Marcus Maye. They're looking out for the New York Jets. And so what's the best case scenario for the New York Jets in the short term? And I think that the easy answer is tagging him. And by tagging him, you're not punishing Marcus Maye, first of all. He's getting paid top 5 safety money to play this season, and it is guaranteed. This year is guaranteed to him. He's going to make over 11 million or something like that. I don't know what the number is, but it's not good for Marcus Maye. I don't want to get it twisted. I'm not saying he should be happy, but the Jets are doing what they have to do for the business of the Jets. By tagging him, think about it this way. By tagging him, they have all of the options and all of the flexibility that they could possibly want moving forward. They can re-sign him if he plays outstanding after this season. They can tag him again. They can let him go. They can move on. They can let a younger player take over. If somebody steps up, if Ashton Davis steps up, they can let him take over. By signing Marcus Maye to a 3-year deal, which, and again, I'm going to be very, very clear here and very, very open. I said that I wanted Marcus Maye re-signed. So don't get it twisted. I'm not changing the mentality that I have. I'm only defending the Jets as a organization in this circumstance because I did want the Jets to re-sign Marcus Maye. But by tagging him, they are keeping present flexibility and future flexibility for the entire franchise. And so I think that's what people need to understand. If they were to have signed him to a 3-year deal, I don't think people would have complained. I think Jets fans probably would have been happy. But it removes all of that flexibility that Joe Douglas is constantly preaching about. Because if they sign him to a 3-year deal, they're not going to trade him, because I'm sure that there wouldn't have been that opportunity. They wouldn't have cut him because they just re-signed him. They couldn't have tagged him again. And it's one of those situations where you lose your options. And so by tagging him, it's 100% the correct decision. And if you're upset about it, fine. Be upset about it. That's your choice. I disagreed with not re-signing him, but I see why they did it. And I think that's the take that Jets fans need to have with Marcus Maye. Although we all wanted him, or most people wanted him re-signed, it's not in the best interest of the New York Jets. And I think that's where, I kind of want to let it sit right there. There's a bunch of people chatting about it right now, so I'm going to go to them. There's a lot of people talking about Ashton Davis as well, so that's super cool. Harry W., what's up, man? It's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Whoa. For some reason, that came out very, very large. Probably as large as his untrimmed balls. All right, so Grant Root says, we would rather be like Dallas having over $100 million into 3 top offensive players. Joe knows what he's doing. He watched Baltimore. He watched Philly crumble after giving out big contracts to a couple of players. Vervain, not sure if Ashton Davis can fill the role that LaMarcus will play. He doesn't have the range to play as the high safety in cover 1 and cover guys man-to-man like Jimmy Ward did in San Fran. I'll disagree a little bit there. He does have the range. He definitely has the speed. I think he was a track guy at Cal. I think the more, like you said, the man-to-man stuff, I'm not so sure he's a good man-to-man cover guy. I'm not sure about that. He is versatile. That was what we were told when he came out of Cal. So, again, I'm hopeful about Ashton Davis. I think a lot of people are down on him, and I don't really get it. He's coming off of his rookie season. Let's give him some time, for God's sake. Let's see. Jason Rhodes says, New York Jets don't care about New York Jets players, right? So that's not true. That's not true. But in a way, it sort of is true. It's not saying they don't care about them, but again, try to remove the personal feelings.
No, I think he's saying over the Jets' history, the Hess days and now the Woody Johnson days, that the Jets franchise or front office does not care about players.
The proof will be in the pudding. When guys like Mekhi Becton are up for a contract, when guys...
Yeah, I mean, look at Darrelle Revis. They took care of Darrelle Revis, and he wanted the moon.
I mean, technically, they traded him.
Well, no, I'm talking about for the Hard Knocks season. They gave him his contract?
Yep.
Was it $100 million, whatever it was?
It was not $100 million. I don't remember.
I don't know.
So the proof will be in the pudding. If they don't sign guys that Joe Douglas drafted to long-term contracts that have earned those long-term contracts, then we can start to get upset and throw a tantrum. But right now, I'm not going to get that way with a 28-year-old safety who Joe Douglas did not draft. And again, he tagged him. He's not punishing Marcus Maye, guys. Let's get that out of our heads. NFL teams use the franchise tag. It's there for a reason. And the players agreed, the Players Association, they agreed to having a franchise tag, okay? So it's not out of the realm, it's not against the rules to use it. Let's see. Jeremy says, I love that JD is so smart with money and managing the cap. Definitely. And again, by doing that, he is giving us more flexibility and more opportunities. When they come, they can strike. If there's a player they love that they want to trade for, they can do it. They have all the assets they need. They have all the cap space they need. If there's an awesome free agent that hits the market and they are one of the teams competing for him, there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to land him. They have plenty of cap space. Options. Flexibility is what Joe Douglas is all about. Let's see. Vern says, paying a safety top dollar is not a winning formula. Joe D knows this. Look how he dealt with Adams. Well, Adams was dealt because of what he was doing, his antics. But you're right, though. Giving out top dollar to a safety, it's not a premium position, guys. Left tackle, quarterback, cornerback. These are edge. These are elite players. These are the players that you pay big money to. You don't throw big money, to a safety, to a running back. That's not a winning formula. Okay. Let's see. Try to make sure I don't skip anybody. He says it's not like we can have him for 2 more seasons, and keeping him longer is not 100% off the table. And that's also in the video, Jeremy Chrebet. They tag him this year. They can tag him again next year, boys and girls. And that's ultimately a 2-year contract with no strings attached. And then he's 30 years old. And I get it. It screws Marcus Maye. I feel bad for Marcus Maye. I'm a Jets fan. I'm allowed to feel bad for him. Joe Douglas does not have to do that. It's not an obligation. It's a business. And so I'm not trying to yell, but I want to make sure everybody understands that. That is why the decision was made. It's not because they wanted to hurt Marcus Maye. Whew. Did you guys see that Elijah Moore podcasts on the Jets site? I'm very excited to see him play. Dude, Elijah Moore is a freak of nature. He wasn't even on my radar going into the draft, which I'm embarrassed to say. But he's a beast. He is an elusive speed slot outside route running wide receiver. He's a freak, versatile.
He's our own Tyreek Hill, baby.
He's an awesome player. I cannot wait to watch Elijah Moore. He's a huge factor in our success this season and moving forward. I agree with that, Braden. He says it's not a big deal. He's a pro. He's not going to be thrilled to be tagged. Let's get that clear. But he's not going to sit there and say, you know what, the Jets just did me dirty. It's a business. It's a tag. It got tagged. Players get tagged every single season in the NFL. So we just got to get over that. All right, let's see. I'm trying to make sure I skim through these chats. Yeah, they paid Revis before they let him go. Right, exactly. Yep. Jason Rhodes is cutthroat on Joe Douglas. He says, Joe has proven that he is a liar to player.
Oh.
Are we talking about a liar to Jamal Adams? He didn't lie to Jamal Adams. It's very clear what Jamal Adams was doing. He just wanted out. He didn't want to be playing for the Adam Gase Jets. He didn't want to play on a losing team. It had nothing to do with Joe Douglas. He attacked everybody. He attacked everybody on his way out. So let's not go the Jamal Adams route.
Exactly.
Who else?
Look at what Seattle's doing.
Who else has he lied to? That's what I would like to know. Let's see. Joe doesn't care about McDumdum's draft picks. Big difference between caring about actual football players and caring about players that didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. Right. BS. Adams was dealt because Adams ran his mouth for Joe lying to him and the fans. I mean, you're welcome to disagree with me. I don't think that's why Jamal Adams made the stir that he did. I don't think it was because contract negotiations went poorly because, again, think about Jamal Adams' situation right now with Seattle. Has he re-signed with Seattle? Has he been given a contract extension with Seattle? The answer is no. Oh, I think this is our man. Hold on,
Is it really?
we got Jason. Hold on 1 second.
Jason.
To accept, press 1.
Here we go.
Jason Rhodes, how you doing, man?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Perfectly, loud and clear. The floor is yours, my man. I want to listen to your take here.
Here's where Joe Douglas lied. Joe Douglas lied to Adams. He lied to Robbie Anderson. He lied to us fans. He told us there was a contract out for Robbie Adams. That's been proven wrong. Joe Douglas lied. There was never a contract for Robbie Anderson. Okay? He also told Jamal Adams, we will sit down. He told us fans, Jamal Adams and I will sit down before the draft. That's what Joe Douglas said. Never happened. Jamal Adams found out that Joe Douglas picked up his 5th-year contract through social media. He didn't have enough wherewithal to even contact Jamal Adams, and that's what pissed him off. Those are facts.
All right, now wait a
Joe
minute.
Douglas,
Hold on a second. Did he actually pick up his 5th-year option? I don't remember that.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
That's what Jamal Adams is playing for. He picked up Jamal Adams' 5th-year contract on day 3 of the NFL draft. And Adams found out through social media. They didn't even have the balls to tell him.
But then how is he playing with Seattle right now? He's not franchise tagged.
This is his fifth year.
Wouldn't last
Remember,
year?
he only played.
Wouldn't last year have been? Oh, I hear what you're saying. So he played on the fourth year last year, and then this past year was.
Yes.
Well, then
This would be his fifth year that Joe Douglas picked up and didn't tell him.
Okay.
Those are all facts that are out there. That Joe Douglas lied to us fans. When I say Joe Douglas lied, he lied to us fans, saying there's an offer for Robbie Anderson. No, that's been proven. There was never an offer.
Okay. Well, I don't.
And so so you take an all-pro player, not just a Pro Bowl player, an all-pro player. He lies about him, and then he tells us fans. Then you take Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's not an all-pro player, but he was still one of the best receivers we had. He lied to him. He wanted out. What's going to happen when Quentin Williams wants out, or not wants out? When Quentin Williams' contract comes up, is he going to continue to lie? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and again, I don't think that the situation with Quentin Williams will be the same as the one with Marcus Maye, even though Joe Douglas did not draft Quentin Williams. I think that he's going to value him because he gets after the quarterback. If we're having this conversation about Quentin Williams and they traded him, that's when we will. And again, I said that's when we're going to start to see people get really pissed off because
exactly. And you've got when Jamal Adams was a two-time Pro Bowler and a one-time All-Pro as a safety. He had more sacks last year in 12 games with Seattle than any Jets player. He's still a great player. You let him go, yeah, we got some compensation points. So I'm not going to give it. I'll give Joe Douglas that, but you don't let your All-Pro players go. And I think that's what he's going to do with Quentin Williams. Wait till Mikal Becton is up for a contract.
If that's happening, that's when you're going to see a lot of people join your side of the fence. Let Mike
John,
for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jason's going to be able to hear me real quick, but I think we have an internal controls on Joe D in the event that he gets too business savvy, and that's Robert. I think we'd be fooling ourselves if we don't recall one of the Jets' most attractive qualities for players out there, as well as one of the most defining players coaches that there is since Herman Edwards, probably, and that is Robert. So I can't imagine Joe D going on this crusade, because if that does happen, not only do you lose those players, but you lose the face of the team. And I will say that as of right now, Robert is the face of the team. Maybe Wilson takes that in the future, but I think your biggest internal control, your check on Jody is Robert. And I think Robert will check Jody. And I think they've said that they would be a great team together. So I think he values Robert's input.
And before you add on to that, Jason, I just want to make sure everybody understands. Robert Saleh.
I agree with it,
Yep. Robert Saleh said that he wants to help these players get the most money that they can. So I think that Mike is right in that Robert Saleh could be kind of like the balancing act, for maybe evening Joe Douglas's business savvy out. Joe, I'll let you have one more go at it, Jason, and then we'll let you go.
Okay, and we also know that Joe Douglas never released anything as far as the contracts that he has offered, but you have Marcus Maye, Marcus Maye's agent, who released a contract saying it was less than his franchise tag that he got now, and they said it was up to 20% less. So that's around $9 million. That's an insult to Marcus Maye. We would all agree that Marcus Maye would probably be a 10, 11, some people say a $12 million safety, and they're offering him less than $9. I mean, what's he going to do? What's he going to do to Quentin Williams? That's the one I'm worried about, because that's the next one up.
And if that happens, is not good. And if that happens, I will be on your side. I will say that right now on record. If Quentin Williams has an awesome season like we all expect him to, and if it gets ugly, then you're going to start to see more people, like I said, join your side of the fence.
And so I'm just seeing it a little early. I hope 100% I'm wrong.
Yep.
I really do.
Yep.
I hope that Joe Douglas continues to build it. But from what I've seen, Robbie Anderson goes and has a better season without Sam Donald.
Yeah.
Jamal Adams, he didn't have a great season, but last year was a screwed up year with COVID and everything. But he still had a pretty good season.
Yep.
Can you imagine Jamal Adams with the coach that we have now?
Yeah. No, you're right about that.
I think some of it's just timing, though.
I have no faith in him right now, so he's going to have to do something to prove, man, we're with you, Joe. We're with you. But you got to prove it now.
All right. Fair
Thanks,
enough.
guys.
Thank you so much, dude.
Great.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you so much for calling, dude.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys. We'll keep on.
All right, man. Later. Great call by Jason. Some of it I'm not sure about. The Robbie Anderson thing, I'm not so certain about that. But he did make some good points, though. If Quinnen Williams does come up for a contract and they start to get ugly and Quinnen Williams is like holding out and Quinnen Williams is asking to be traded, then I will have my serious concerns with Joe Douglas at that point. Because if Quinnen Williams proves to be a legitimate interior pass rushing threat, you gotta get that guy to stay on the team. I think it would be a humongous, disastrous mistake to let somebody like that go who's that talented. Mike, I'll let you talk a little bit about what Jason said.
No, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, particularly for players who have contract negotiations coming up. Obviously, that sets a tone. But there's no way you can get me to swallow that pill that Jody pulled Marcus Maye in on his own without consulting Robert, without consulting Jeff, and without consulting, not to say that I want him to consult the Johnson family, but he probably did. And Jody doesn't, although Jody is aggressive, Jody doesn't strike me as a guy who would stay in the shadows and make decisions in a silo. I will say that I would say this. He might have had to do that when it was just him and Christopher Johnson during the Gase days, because obviously Jody was new, and I think that the situation with Robbie was a result of timing, because at that point in time we were at a low. I think they were probably weighing out, how long are we going to be in this lull? Do we need this money? We need this to kind of get ourselves out of this hole. People wanted Robbie. Carolina wanted Robbie. So, I mean, I don't know the exact details on that. That I'll defer to John and to chat in terms, because I can't recite all the steps of what happened with Robbie Anderson. But I think Robbie was a result of timing and where the Jets were as an organization, which was piss poor. And Joe being new, I think for this, if just focusing on Marcus, there's no way you can get me to swallow the pill that he made that decision on his own, pulled Marcus in and said, I'm franchise tagging Marcus, and this is my decision. I mean, this is his decision at the end of the day, but I have to imagine Robert was in on that. They probably looked at it. They weighed out the business benefits, return on investment, as well as talk to him as a player. Because I would imagine Robert would have had to talk to him. It's not like Robert's going to be like, hey, this is your decision, Joe. You talk to Marcus. I'm not talking to Marcus. Robert strikes me as a guy, no matter if the decision is beneficial to the player or not, Robert's going to be the guy who's in there talking to him. So
You're right.
I think there's more to this, and I think there was more to the decision that's beyond just Joe Douglas.
Absolutely. We have a legendary superstar joining us, Mr. Green Bean, the sexy man himself. Hope you're doing well, Green Bean. Good to see you. He said 5 dropped INTs for Jamal. I think he just dropped another one. As I said that, he dropped another interception just as I was reading that. Anyway, it's good to see you. We'll get to one comment real quick. So Adler Jack, I don't recognize you, sir. Welcome to the channel. And if you are new, hope you consider subscribing to the channel. That was a little loud. Sorry, everybody. Let's see. If we can't sign any free agents because of JD, then it's a problem. Until then, no. And that's the thing. Jamal Adams was traded, and Joe Douglas pulled in many a free agent and many a top-rated free agent. Carl Lawson, Corey Davis. You could even throw the case Justin Hardy. He was an elite special teamer that we signed in free agency, and the guy came because of Robert Saleh. And whatever you want to say about Joe Douglas, if people are turned off by him, it sure seems to be conflicted with what's that's all I'm going to say. We've got another phone call. We're going to take it because that's what we do.
Hey, this is Bernard from North.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Bernard, how you doing, man?
Hey, long time no talk. How you doing?
Doing fantastic, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm so glad I can get through. I want to talk about, I hear you discuss the Robbie Anderson situation, the conversation about Joe Douglas. I think I happen to disagree with that last caller. Being a longtime Jets fan myself for over 40 years, being from Brooklyn, New York, stickball kid, basically what it is, the Jets have been taken advantage of. The Truman Johnson contract, the Mo Wilson contract, what it is, Joe Douglas has probably done his diligence. He's probably done his research, and he's seen how many of these players are taking advantage of the Jets. Those days are over. You're going to have to play your tail off, and you're going to have to come out of a premium position for him to spend a dime on you. And I don't blame Joe Douglas. The people that are going to get the money is going to be the Mekhi Becton, the Quentin Williams, and the Zach Wilson. That's the way it should be, because those are the premium positions. Not to say he doesn't value Marcus Maye, that's why he tagged him. So he can get a decent amount of money, so he won't have to feel that he really ripped them off or took advantage of them. He used his franchise tag, and that's his right, He did the right thing. He got a tag to give this year, and he got a tag to give next year. So Marcus Maye's going to have to put it on the line. He's going to have to play his tail off if he wants to get paid. And if he wants to have a chance to get that 3, 4, or 4 year deal, especially at his age, because around here he's in his late 20s. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what it is, this is a year he's going to have to really, really put it up. We know he has the ability, and hopefully with a better scheme that'll help him and more cater to his talent and abilities. Hopefully, the best of Mo Wilson's yet to come. And also, I want to get into it before I have to go. I try to project into the future. I like where we're going with this team and this team's offensive line. I want to see us give Morgan Moses a contract extension. Nothing crazy. I'm thinking maybe about 3 years.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what the money per year would be, but I know the 3-year range is what I'm looking at. And I'm thinking about drafting Evan Neal of Alabama. He's
Yes,
a
sir.
monster.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
That's the vision I had.
Before you go, I just want to make sure it's clear here. The Morgan Moses thing, when they signed him, I was hoping that it was a 2 to 3 year deal. And it's like you said, if Joe Douglas sees Morgan Moses play lights out, pancaking dudes, opening up running lanes this year, I don't see why he wouldn't be interested in signing him to a 2-year deal, extending him and letting him play. Yep.
So that's the idea I had, because I think if Morgan Moses can perform based on his past trends and his tendencies and what he's done in the past history of his career, he'll probably get a contract extension, which would take right tackle off the table. Now, with 2 first-round picks next year and all the draft capital we have, I would do whatever it took to move up and get Evan Neal. He's a monster. Because my vision is with Becton, Vera-Tucker, Morgan Moses, and Evan Neal at the other guard spot, we would have a line that for the first time is on par with the one that Rex had in 2009, 2010. And we would have a real chance to make a run at the Super Bowl. So this division is about to get crazy. Because eventually, sooner or later, I'm talking about Deshaun Watson, he's going to the Dolphins. And what's going to happen is this division is going to get stronger. But I'm not afraid of that. I'm glad, because I'm sick and tired of the Patriots. I don't want to see
Amen.
the top 2 of this division for a long time, and that'll ensure that if the Dolphins get Watson and Buffalo gets stronger and we get stronger, the Patriots can hang it up. They can forget it.
Absolutely.
They're not going to be on the top of this division for a long time. Belichick will retire before that happens. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You are the best, man. Thank you so much
it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Dude, it's great to talk to you. I said it's great to talk to you. I hope you call in more often during the season. I would love to hear from you, man.
Yeah, working at the airport, the way I've been working, my schedule's a little funny, but at least, you've been coming on in a prime time slot, and I'm working first shift. So I'll get a chance to tune in, and I am getting my proper notifications. I'm aware when you go live, and I can hit you up.
You're the man, Bernard. Thank you so much for calling, man.
And thank you for taking my call
so
much.
You have a great evening. Yes, take care. We have such an awesome community.
Yeah, he's
People,
awesome guy.
I love hearing from our viewers. It's so nice. And again, it's kind of why the voicemail thing is there. If you're not comfortable talking live, like Bernard, like Jason, like so many other people, guys, leave the voicemail. We get tickled over the fact that we get to hear from you guys. That is the reason why I created this channel. It's an opportunity for us to all, to have a voice. And so that's the, if I could create a vision or whatever, a mission statement for NYJ today, it's we are, the fans of the New York Jets, and we all have a voice. So thank you so much.
Makes me break out my lawnmower.
Yeah. Makes me want to wax on, wax off downstairs. All right. It's been a blast, and we've only gotten through one freaking topic. This is wonderful, though. So Payo Time, I had an opportunity to go on his channel a few weeks back. Payo Time does a great job. He involves the entire NFL fan base, which is awesome. And he had a quick question for us. He says, do you guys think Zach Wilson has what it takes to handle the New York media? Mike, why don't you go first?
It's a good question. I don't see why not. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about what you do on the field. It's all about how the season goes. I don't see why that would be a concern. I mean, I think right now it's an open field, and I'll keep using that term, but it's, everyone's going to get the benefit of the doubt. Everyone's going to get a chance to make their mark, and it's a clear plate. So I don't see why that would be an issue.
I agree, and he's just super well spoken, very articulate. He seems to be very intelligent. He's gonna. I mean, we've all read the reports. He is attacking film. He's very aggressive in that regard. He wants to learn as much as he can. That has nothing to do with the New York media. That's not really what I was talking about. But he's just a smart dude, and he's young, and so of course that's going to take some time for him to get used to. And I think the question is not can he handle the New York media? Is it can he handle the New York media when he's in a slump? Mm-hmm. Off of a 3 interception game where they ended up losing. Can he handle that?
I actually think, John, if I may, I think this question is more relevant after his 3 or 4 years. I think when you get to that 4 or 5 years, assuming that he follows the trajectory that we all think and the sports world thinks he will be on, some of us know that he will be on. I think the pressures of a high or of an aggressive market, which is New York. You could put Boston in there with New England. You could put California in there with the Niners and Oakland. I think that is more of a pressure in your late, what would you call that, in your middle of your career or early middle, because at that point you made it past the boom or bust phase, in which case now you're the target for marketing, you're the target for the city, you're the target for politicians. I actually think I'm not worried about Zach right now. Everyone's going to treat Zach like a small fish in a large pond. But once he grows, and if he grows to the size as we think he's going to be, that's when the media will be on him, because anyone running for mayor in New York, anyone running for Senate or House, anyone looking, any company looking to get another marketing out there, that's where you really start to see it. And it's a valid question. Now John and I have answered this question, but he comes from Utah. New York is a blue state, in which case that will be interesting. You'll have hopefully a franchise quarterback who, to the best of our knowledge, if we were to make an assumption, probably has very conservative roots given his background. If he's get pushed, if the team or the franchise puts him in a position to kind of say, hey, we need you to support, we need you, the city wants you to support this, and he doesn't agree with that, then that becomes interesting. But I feel like that's not really an issue. I mean, John and I have said at the end of the day, he's a player. We don't really care if you're red or blue or what you support or what you don't support. I mean, obviously we want you to be well mannered and to be courteous to all people, races, of all animal rights, whatever. But I don't think I think that would be a more interesting situation is when he is the face of the franchise and he is in a place that maybe he doesn't agree with in terms of values and priorities. That's where I think that question is. I think it's premature to ask that question right now.
Fair enough. And I do think that he'll be fine. And again, it will be interesting to see him after a loss. I don't really care about all the red-blue nonsense. I don't really care about any of that because that's not his job. He's not going to answer questions regarding politics. So I think he's going to be just fine, but the proof is in the pudding. We'll see how he does. Hader Ali, we have not seen him in the chat in a really long time. It's really good to see you, my man. He says, "What's up, John, Mike, Jets fam? People need to breathe. Maye plays a position that is not of great importance unless he's a Troy, Palomalu, and Ed Reed. That would be different. He is a top 7 to 12 safety. The value is 7.5 to 9.5 mil." And I agree. Let's see. Does Zach sign prior to the camp starting? Technically, rookie's already reported.
Yeah.
So he's already not behind, but he's already, technically he's not there. And
can we just go into that? I mean, I've been dying to talk about that particular topic.
Our next topic is the unsigned rookie.
Yeah, I just was going to go straight into it.
Go for it.
I just think this is getting blown up out of proportion. I really do. I mean, there are other first rounders who haven't signed. Yeah. And just for reflection, I think Trevor and Mag just signed, was it earlier this week or last week? I can't remember exactly, John.
Trevor just signed, and actually Trey Lance, the pick, the third quarterback, the third pick, just today.
So what are we talking about? I mean, I really think we're blowing it. And the rookie contracts are already pre-structured. So what we're talking about is he's probably going back and forth on the payouts, how frequent, the overall structure. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the way it works. Maybe some incentives. Maybe some luxuries in there. I don't know what else they offer on top of how the rookie contracts work, overall value. But there's nothing in there that's going to hang up him signing. I mean, it really just comes down to, what do you want? How does that play with how we're offering the other rookies? Things like that. Whether he signs tonight or whether he signs right before the season starts, to me, I think it doesn't really matter. We know he's going to sign. I think blowing this out of proportion, chat, if you are concerned, I think this enables the whole hubbub about the New York marketplace, because this is typical New York media, which is he hasn't signed. We have a problem. The franchise he doesn't agree with the franchise. I think this is all really all hubbub at the end of the day. I think this is really has nothing to do with what actually is going on right now. We don't even know what could be contributing to it. This is vacation season. Perhaps the agent is taking its time. Maybe Zach's taking his time. We really don't know what's going on. I just say let it run its course. He's going to sign. It really comes down to little dotting the I's and dotting the T's, not overall value or his willingness or non-willingness to be with the team. This is not the Jamarcus Russell days. This is not the Tagovailoa days where rookies could have a huge spin 180 turn right before the season started. To me, just let it run its course. That's where I'm at.
I don't disagree with any of that. It is a little bit overhyped. I think the fans just want to know that their players are going to be there on time to learn. They want this rookie quarterback to succeed. We've seen so many failures of rookie quarterbacks with the New York Jets. And I think that the idea is if he's on time, he's going to have a better shot to learn, to develop, and to take over the starting job, because that's ultimately what he's going to have. So I think that's where the anxiety comes from. I will compare it, Mike, to when we were saying we were concerned about Becton.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a real serious concern at the time for Becton? Not really. But it was concerning. We were worried about him because we care about it. Like, we're fans, we're invested in the team, And I think that's where all of those emotions come from. It's not because it's misguided. It's just people want him in the building because they want the team to win. They want winner. They want a winner in New York. And so that's really where it comes from. So yeah, I agree with you though. It's not a concern. I'll be concerned if he's missing, more than just a couple of days of actual training. I don't want him to miss any training camp, but ultimately his career will not be altered if he misses 3 days of training camp. So
yeah, I just and Robert doesn't want that. Mike LaFleur doesn't want that. So I will be shocked if that's the case. I will be shocked.
I agree as well. All right, real quick commercial break, guys. If you have not hit the like button on this stream, we are, 30 strong right now. Go ahead and hit that like button for us. Support the channel. If you're new and you're watching this stream live and you're not subscribed, or if you're watching this stream after it's already aired and you've not subscribed, go ahead and do so. We're getting super close to 1,000. Would like to hit that mark by the season. It gives us the opportunity to communicate with you guys. We get the community feature once you reach 1,000 subscribers, and I can send out, different messages, polls, alerts for the channel, and that way it's just a better channel experience overall. So if you could please, we would hope that you would that you would, consider subscribing and help out the channel. It would mean a lot to us. All right. There is so much chat. I'm just trying to get to the very best. Let's see here. I have a video on my channel all about Zach's agent and this issue. If anyone wants to know more, the dude is also from Buffalo and had business ventures with the Bills owners. Interesting. That's pretty cool, Frankie. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that on your channel. Thanks for sharing that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Craig Collins, the legend himself. I got to give this man got to give it to him. Hopefully he won't miss any training camp. Yeah, we don't want him to miss any time. I mean, again, I won't panic, but we don't want him to miss time. That's for sure. Let's see. There's a really good debate going on right now in the chat between Grant Rude and Jeremy Cravat. If you'd like to be entertained and read those comments, go for it. I love both of you. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to involve myself because I know it's between you and each other. So Craig Collins says, I was glad to hear that Zach spent a lot of time with Greg Knapp during OTAs and mini camps. And we just have to hope that he can continue to just spend time with him because he's obviously battling for his life. So nothing good there. Let's see. Legend Killa says, I could see Wilson not signing and still showing up to practice. Yeah, that would get the Jets in big trouble. But you're right, though. He is just a fiend for football, it seems, and loves the game. All right, let's go on to our next topic. And it's actually a pretty juicy one, I think. So there's a man named, and let me get his name right, Paul A. Esden Jr. He's on Twitter, and he also writes for Heavy.com. Big Jets fan. He has a YouTube channel. You guys can check him out. I did leave a link to the article in the description, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it because he has an interesting perspective on it. Robert Saleh is the shiny object in the Jets town, and he hasn't had anything go wrong, right? So we don't have a lot of bad things to say about him. I'm going to read part of what he wrote, and then I'll kind of let Mike talk a little bit about, his take on it. So here's the article. It says, and this is a quote from Robert Saleh, the biggest thing that we're trying to do, and call it coach speak, we're trying to give all 90 guys a chance to establish themselves as starters. And we want to give everybody an opportunity to go out there and play and showcase who they are, give them the ability to see how they match up. So yeah, the quarterback part is the same. Those guys are all going to work. Will he take the first snap? Probably. But at the same time, it all comes down to what he can handle and how he can handle things going through training camp and the preseason. Paul's take on this was that Robert Saleh is the guy that's very genuine and speaks, only what's really true. And he's a player's coach, so he's got their backs. And his take is that this is kind of bullshit. He says that Robert Saleh is essentially blowing smoke up the team's derriere when he really doesn't need to. He could probably just say, hey guys, look, Zach Wilson's the man. He's going to be the starting quarterback from day one. There's no competition at the quarterback spot. He's the man.
I mean, what do you want him to say?
Hold on.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. So Paul's take is that Saleh probably shouldn't be saying that because the players won't. That's his big selling point right now, is that the players can believe everything that he says. He's extremely genuine, and that this is kind of disingenuous. Is that a word? Disingenuous?
Yes, that's a word.
So what is your take on that? Should Robert Saleh bite his tongue? Should he just be saying, look, guys, Zach Wilson's clearly the guy? And he is. He is clearly the guy. They're not going to start Mike White.
But he said it. What do you want him to say? Hey, Zach, welcome. We're going to be kissing your ass for the next 5 years. He's still a player at the end of the day, and Robert's still the head coach. He gave the right head coach answer, which is, I don't care if you're Tom Brady, Joe Namath, or whether you're Zach Wilson, you still have to play. And guess what? The other 89 guys on the team have to play as well. He said probably he will be taking the first snap, but that does not give Zach a pass to say, hey, I'm going to kiss your ass for the next 5 years. You still got to play. We still need production out of you. And yes, do you come with an immense amount of a red cape that has hope on it? Yes. Are we really excited to have you here? Yes. But you're still got to show it, and you still have to have the drive. If anyone is a UFC fan, raise your hand. Did anyone watch? Has anyone been watching Conor McGregor's performance since he's become a multimillionaire? Because the drive's not there, he's not there, and he hasn't won a fight. He hasn't won a fight in 4 years. I can't remember. Anyway, that's for a different channel. But what I'm saying is, as soon as a player's head gets too large and the drive sinks, so does that player's performance. Now, the exception to that is, of course, the immortal one, Tom Brady, who knows his head is big and still somehow puts up Super Bowl rings. So he is the exception to that statement. But other than that, I mean, look at Pat Mahomes. You don't see Andy Reid kissing his ass. You know what I'm saying? There is an element of humility, and there is a responsibility to the coach, because the coach, Robert's job isn't to just coach one player. His job is to coach 90 players or more than that in the terms of the offseason. And he gave the right answer. He wasn't trying to blow smoke on it. He did say that Wilson will probably take the first snap. But look at what the Jags did. The Jags were saying it was an open competition 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think people forget at the end of the day that Robert's responsibilities far expand beyond his relationship with Zach Wilson. That's what I'll say for that.
Okay, fair enough. And I want to make sure it's clear here. Paul, I am not referring to your article because I think it's not correct, and I'm not saying, that you're incorrect. I actually just thought it was an interesting take because we haven't heard, anything negative about about Robert Saleh at this point. And I think it's kind of cool because there's going to be things that we need to talk about. We need to question some of the moves, some of the decisions. And I do think it's interesting, because it is clear that Zach Wilson's going to be the guy. But it is also true, Mike. You can't sit there and say, yeah, Zach Wilson, his job no matter what. He's got it locked up. And, so I'm not saying that this is the scenario here. There are so many Cinderella stories in the National Football League. Kurt Warner literally was putting cans of food on a shelf. And then went on to win a Super Bowl. So by saying that, it does seem facetious. It does seem disingenuous. But ultimately, he's right, because we don't know the story of Zach Wilson yet as an NFL player. We don't know the story of a lot of these young players that are on the roster, Mike White, James Morgan. I'm certainly not insinuating that either of these guys are going to win a Super Bowl like Kurt Warner did. But the ultimate thing I'm trying to say is that I would say that Robert Saleh is inbounds saying this for those reasons alone. So I will leave it at that. And again, Paul, thanks so much for letting me share your article. Guys, go ahead and check out the link in the description for Paul's. His writing is on it's in the description of this stream. Yeah, we only allow pillow fights at NYJ today. Duke it out, guys. there is an intense battle going on.
What's it about?
So there was an article written by Jeremy, and he talked about Justin Fields.
Oh.
And so Grant Roode is a backer of, Justin the day he dies, and so I'm sure, he feels offended by that. So let's go ahead and talk real quick. Craig Collins says, in my opinion, there's no way that Hoyer or Mullins would have even beaten out Wilson, and probably not Foles either. And I think that's a fair take, because even if they brought in a veteran, are we really suggesting that competition is any more like?
No, it's just, right.
Right. You're not really buying that competition either. So what's the point of trying to mince words when you've got Mike White and James Morgan behind Zach Wilson? I just think I don't think it hurts to say what Paul said, because again, he's just trying to, critique our new coach.
Right. I mean, I feel like the perfect example of a team that got into that type of trouble was with Phillip Rivers, with San Diego. They fell exactly into that trap. 100%.
There you go. Cool. I like it. Awesome. All right, we will move on. I only have one more topic for tonight, so we will go to the chat. We will open it up for phone calls. If you guys want to call in live, feel free to do so. If you want,
we skipped one thing though.
Training camp?
No, with the unsigned rookie, we didn't talk about Elijah. But I mean, I guess
talked about it overall.
Yeah, true. Because it's probably the same thing. I would apply the same thing I said for Zach. I would say for Elijah. At least that's for me. I didn't know if you had anything else. I'll just, and the reason why I bring it up, John, because I didn't really look into whether there was any other surrounding circumstances for Elijah versus Zach. So I didn't know if you knew anything else other than what I don't know. But anyway, we've covered it. You can go for it.
All right. Very cool. So the topic that I want to get on real quick is I'm gonna explain what it is. So it says, what storyline do you think has the best chance to come to fruition? So for example, the storyline of Mekhi Becton ascending and becoming a Pro Bowl caliber player. Do you think that has the best chance to come to fruition? And then also worst chance to come to fruition. So maybe Zach Wilson becoming Rookie of the Year. Do you not really buy into that storyline? Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. So what storyline do I think has the best chance to come to fruition? And I'm going to say that Corey Davis, #1 wide receiver on the New York Jets. And I will preface this by saying that I did get this question from the Badlands. If you guys don't know about that podcast, they're a fantastic New York Jets podcast. And Connor Rogers, if I'm saying that correct, I believe it's Connor Rogers. And he talked about Corey Davis as well. And he believes the same thing that I do. And that's kind of why I'm referencing this question. Corey Davis, to me, they signed him to do that job. #1 outside receiver for at least the next 2 years or so until Mims can ascend and develop. To me personally, I think Corey Davis is almost a lock for 1,000 yards this season. He is the veteran on the outside. There's nobody with more experience on the outside than him. Mims doesn't have it. Jamison Crowder, although he's been in the NFL a long time, is not an outside wide receiver. Keelan Cole is not a truly defined outside wide receiver, so he doesn't even really fit into that conversation. So to me, Corey Davis has the best chance to meet his storyline, which is he will be the #1 wide receiver on this football team come this fall. I think they're going to be targeting him anywhere from 6 to 8 times a game, and he's going to get those opportunities down the field, intermediate, short. I think he has a really good shot to be very, very good in this offense. Mike, what's your best? What's your storyline that you think has the best chance to come to fruition?
Justin Hardy makes it onto the defensive squad.
Go talk a little bit about it. So you're talking about snaps on defense.
I'm just freestyling right now because I was trying to think of a different one, but I mean that would be definitely an attention grabber. I'm a huge Justin Hardy fan, just given his press conference, and I've talked about it before. John's talked about it. If you haven't watched his press conference when they picked him up, you really got to go see it because I was motivated. I felt like it was a Rudy moment kind of thing. I would say, to be serious, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of spitballing. I don't even know if it's good. I mean, one of them that stands out to me would be C.J. Mosley returning to peak form. That's one that jumps out to me that I think is realistic, given. I mean, obviously, camps, I guess has officially started, but as far as, actually getting news reports out of camp, that will be probably one of the biggest things I keep my eyes and nose to the ground on, or ear to the ground on. But I do think that given his conditioning that we heard in OTAs, him coming back to peak form, and if he was to, now if you were to ask me the likelihood of him making the Pro Bowl his first year back since 2018, I don't know what percent of optimism I would give to that right now. I would need to think about that. But if he was to make it back to a Pro Bowl after a 2 or technically almost a 3-year break,
2 years,
that would be pretty amazing to me. And I don't. Now, if you were to ask me 2-3 months ago, you heard a man who was very nervous about that situation and about the linebacker crew in general. After OTAs, that has kind of really helped me kind of level out in terms of anxiety with that. Am I still a little bit nervous because it is kind of superficial until we actually see him take some serious snaps? But if I believe the hype and I believe what was coming out of Twitterville and things like that, if he's hitting the ground running again and he's the C.J. Mosley of 2017, that would be an amazing news story for me. I think that would be fantastic. So, and it would actually mean that the Jets actually got what we were supposed to get out of that trade, which happened 4 years ago, whatever it is. So,
well,
yeah.
Funny you mentioned C.J. Mosley. There is a video coming out for him specifically. It says my expectations for C.J. Mosley. So that'll come out soon. It is already recorded and ready to go. All right, storyline that you think has the worst chance of coming to fruition.
Rephrase. Just let me make sure I got it right.
So a storyline that fans have talked about that you don't think has a shot to come to fruition.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the storyline that a lot of fans are talking about. Quinnen Williams and Carl Lawson are both going to be double-digit sack guys. I'm not buying that. I think that storyline, although it would be really, really nice. I mean, I'd be fired up as hell if both guys are double-digit sack guys this season because it would be tremendous. I'm not buying that, though. Carl Lawson has never been double-digit, and I'm not saying he can't be, but he's never done it. Technically, Quinnen Williams has never done it, although I know he has that ability as well. So for both to do it in the same season, I think is very unlikely, but holy shit, would that be awesome. That would be a dynamite, defensive line, obviously, to have 2 players with double-digit sacks. I don't buy that storyline yet. I think that it could happen, in the contracts that they still have remaining. So maybe next year when they get a better secondary. I think that it does matter. If you do have a good secondary, it does help your pass rushers to get to the quarterback, just like having a great pass rush helps your secondary to not have to cover as long. So ultimately, I'm going to say those 2 both don't get double-digit sacks. That storyline will not reach fruition. Mike, what's your storyline? Not reach fruition.
I got the best one.
Go.
Here it is. Tevin Coleman will keep the starting job the entire season. No way that comes to
Oh,
fruition.
I was about to say.
Did I get the question wrong? I'm
No,
sorry.
you
Did I
got
get that wrong?
it. You got it.
Okay. There's no way that happens. There's no blue pill or red pill. There's no roofie you could give me to get me to say or to believe that Tevin Coleman is going to retain the starting position in the running back lineup for the entire 21 season. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose that role before midseason, and my boy Michael Carter is going to be right there to take advantage of it. That was the first one that stood out when you asked me what the framing of the question or the answer would be, and I'm all over Tevin Coleman because I don't think he's going to do crap for us. I think it's all Michael Carter, and I can't wait to see my prediction come to fruition.
Okay. Yeah, so Tevin Coleman, I don't buy him as a starter either. He might start early in the season, but I would agree with you. He's not going to be a long-term starter by any means. Harry W., you're mentioning Jonathan Franklin Myers. Dude, we've talked a lot about Jonathan Franklin Myers. We talked a lot about Bryce Huff, Sheldon Rankins. There's loads and loads of young talent on the defensive line. So definitely not sleeping on him. I would be much more interested in talking about
Berber's all over me, bro. He's all over me today.
He took the easy way.
Took the easy way out.
Carter is irrelevant. 3 guys will get the ball.
Yeah.
On a carries. Vern, you go after Mike. I give you full reign. Full reign.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for whatever I did.
No worries, man. This has been a lot of fun tonight. I missed this because we haven't done it for a couple of weeks. So this has been an absolute blast. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream.
Oh, do you see Green Bean?
Yeah, Green Bean. Yeah, he's been in there.
No. His comment on the running back.
Oh, I just saw it. It just popped.
P. Ryan. He's got P. Ryan on there.
So before I get to Green Bean, Craig Collins did say earlier that that Carl Lawson and Quinnen Williams will both have double-digit sacks, so he disagrees with me. That's cool with me. Disagreements are the fruit of life. Variety, baby. Green Bean has been defending LaMichael Pirine on his channel, and he believes that he will be the opening day starter. And so that goes against everything that NYJ is. So you're NYJ. So get the hell out of here, Green Bean. Just kidding. Green Bean, you have an awesome pod, dude. You're awesome.
Yeah, your pod is pretty awesome, man. I enjoy watching it.
So him disagreeing and saying LaMichael Pirine will start is a disagreement for sure, but no worries at all. I think LaMichael Pirine, it's fair to say that I am sleeping on him. That is the one player I will admit. I'm not saying he's a bad football player. I just don't see how he fits into the offense.
Well, let me ask. Can I ask Green Bean a question? Green Bean, just to put it in the chat.
You're such a fan.
Well, no. Here's a question that would be very interesting to me because you got a tie out there. Green Bean, do the Jets keep all 4 running backs on the squad? That's my one question. I'd be curious to see what he says to that.
Yeah, the Green P. Ryan is life. Listen, man, if he comes in and he proves me wrong, I will absolutely own up to anything that I've said that's incorrect. And I'd be more than happy to eat all of the crow in the world if he comes out and balls the hell out this season. Definitely, that would be awesome. If P. Ryan just steps up and shuts me up big time, hell yeah, I'm all about it.
You see what Michelle said? You see what Leroy Jenkins said?
Mike sounds like asking a magic 8-ball. Oh, wow, Grant Root agrees too. He says he agrees that P. Ryan will be the opening day starter.
No way,
dude. Listen, there are for the
that means they're cutting Ty Johnson.
They could, and I'm not. Yeah. I don't think that would be the right decision, and I don't think that I'd be so thrilled about it. But who cares if P. Ryan comes in and he balls out and he proves me wrong? I don't care. I just want the team to win. I just want this team to win.
True.
Jason Rhodes, that is absolutely true. Jason Rhodes, earlier in the offseason, you did talk a lot about P. Ryan, saying that he should be the running back and that he's an excellent running back. Cool.
Oh, I like what Green Bean's answer.
He said,
Cut Coleman, baby. They're not going to cut Coleman when they just signed him, though.
it's not impossible that they cut him because it's only a 1 year, $2 million deal. And I don't even believe that much of any of it, if any of it, was guaranteed. So if Tevin Coleman just kind of stinks the joint up and they've got these young guys stepping up, absolutely Tevin Coleman could be an odd man out. But I'm with you, though. I don't think that they're going to cut him. I don't think that that's a likely scenario because, like you said, they just signed him. It's pretty unlikely, in my opinion. Definitely Josh Adams.
Yeah.
Josh Adams is definitely the odd man out. I mean, there have been Cinderella stories before. It would be a pretty surprising story if he kept a roster spot or if there was just injuries, obviously. So Vern says so many are sleeping on Coleman. He's really solid. Yeah, Tevin Coleman. I like him as a third down back in this offense early in the season. We need somebody trustworthy to pick up the blitz. I don't really want a rookie or even Ty Johnson, a young player, or even Michael P. Ryan, a second-year back. I don't really want these guys out there on third down pass protecting Zach Wilson on the blitz when I have a veteran who's been doing this for years now.
True. That's a good point.
That's the value in Tevin Coleman. It's pass protection and the receiving ability on third down. You're right. Nope. I definitely alluded to it. They could cut him. The money is not an issue at all by any means. If he doesn't step up in training camp and preseason, he will be gone. Agreed. If Coleman is just average before the season starts, he'll be cut. Yep. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. It's so this is where I want people. I very rarely get attacked. It's always Mike because he's always wrong. But I would love it if people kind of hate my way every once in a while. I don't get it enough. I must be just too doggone agreeable.
No, just too jolly.
Too jolly. Yeah, no, I don't hate P. Ryan. I just don't think I don't think he excels at any one particular aspect of the game. So for that reason, I feel like the other running backs are more intriguing to me. Craig Collins does agree with me. No worries. If you do agree or disagree, it's all good, guys. I am not a sensitive soul.
I'm a sensitive flower, so send all your attacks and
to me.
hate his way.
All right. Fair enough. Guys, this has been a ton of fun. We are going to wrap this bad boy up. During the season, this is going to last a lot longer. It's going to be a very long stream during the season.
You have a whole nother segment you're adding to the rotation. So, yeah.
Yep. James will be, he's going to be on the channel every Wednesday. He's going to be breaking down the games that happened. He's going to show us why we won. He's going to show us why we lost. I mean, that's never going to happen. But if we lose, a game, he's going to break down why that.
That's right, baby.
And there's just so much more coming on the channel. I really want to show this thumbnail that I made for our Sunday night podcast, for our Sunday night show. I was on Twitter and I posted a thumbnail of our Sunday stream. And I said, I really like this. What do you guys think about it? And people were like, oh, it's really cool. It's cool. It's cool. And I had one person say, hey, that red should be green. And I was like, well, damn, I didn't even think about that. There is a lot of red. It looks like Christmas on the screen. And I posted this onto Twitter and I said, does anybody have an idea to change it? Because I don't know how to do that. And I got somebody literally to make this. It's a green thumbnail for our post-game shot. I was so tickled about it. I just thought that was so cool to have a fan of the Jets kind of just willingly do that for the channel. So that was super cool. Green Bean says, let's continue to hang. He says, don't cut this short. He says, this is quality content right now. Kyle, why does Robbie Oak no longer come on to the chat? Is he mad at you or something? That couldn't be further from the case. Robbie Oak and I are close. He DMs me every once in a while, and I talk to him as well through the DMs. He's doing good. Here's the thing, guys. There's not a lot of Jets. No, I shouldn't say that. Not every Jets fan follows the team from the draft to the season. It's a rare breed of fan that literally can't get enough of the Jets, that they literally watch from the end of the draft to now. There's not a lot to talk about, and we've made it from that point to here now. And so Robbie Oak, I think he's just kind of busy. He says he's busy with work, busy with family. So that's why. He's not mad at me, though. We're good pals. Let's see. E-Rock Polk. Who do you guys think our left tackle and left guard are going to be? That's what I'm talking about. There's just not a lot to talk about. Anyway, so there are 7 videos recorded. Actually, 8, I should say. 8 videos recorded and edited, ready to go. There's going to be a boatload of content coming your way. I will let you know, though, we are not going to be streaming this coming Wednesday. My wife and I are celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary, so we will be gone. I'm going to be going to Disney World with my daughter and my wife after that. So we're busy, but we will be back. I can't remember the date. I think it's the 5th or something like that of August.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We will stream for that. And then you won't see us again until the Wednesday. I think it's after the preseason game, the first preseason game. So the videos will continue to post to the channel, but we will not be streaming a whole lot. But once the season does start to get going, guys, it's going to be a very consistent weekly occurrence like you guys are used to and accustomed to. Ooh! Ooh!
Elijah Moore just signed, baby.
Oh! Let's go!
Let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Gotta give a sound effect or something for that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is what I live for. Elijah Moore has agreed to his 4-year rookie deal, includes full guarantees in years 1 through 3. He's going to be one of the best rookies that was drafted this past draft. I believe that. Yeah, Green Bean just posted the same thing. Yeah, Moore just signed. We've only got 1 rookie left.
That's it, baby.
1 more. Yep, and
I
Green.
think it'll happen this week.
I think it's going to happen probably this week first. Did you say this week?
Definitely this week. Could be tomorrow.
I think he could sign tomorrow. I think he could sign the day after that. It ain't going to be long, fellers. It's going to be done soon. That's pretty fun. We haven't had a lot of breaking news on the channel, so that's pretty fun. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Love you guys to death. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us for an hour and a half plus. Don't forget, if you haven't, subscribe. If you haven't,
Do it now.
hit the like button on this stream. And we will see you guys soon. Go Jets. And we will see you guys next time. Word from my daughter. Mikey, give the love.
Peace, guys.
Later, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.
Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Bye, guys.